So have you ever done time like with a Hispanic dude who was either running with the Crips or the Bloods, and he had to be removed from the line?
Man, bro, I can't remember. I know I'm pretty sure I have, bro, and I think that might have happened, but that I can remember, nah, bro. I remember there was a white dude, and I think something kicked off behind that. But yeah, that never. But I do know that has happened, where you know, the dude. That's just how it was, man. Like it was kind of like a pride thing, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I do remember hearing stories where it's gonna kick off because naturally, you know, the black's gonna back the dude up, and but as far as me being there, I don't recall, bro.
So you had told me earlier in a previous conversation that you had done a little time with the YouTube guy. I guess he's half black, half Hispanic, King Nico.
Oh yeah. So I just remember him like being around in the same, you know, in the county, you know, but nothing like big, like he was my boy or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I remember Nico.
So then you had also spoke about the 3,000 boys.
Yeah, the 3,000 boys was a faction of. It was a gang. It was a gang, a sheriff gang, and it's pretty well documented. They formed a gang, and they actually started just terrorizing, man. The county jail. They started even a few. There was actually a few murders, I think that occurred, or people that were dying. That some of that might even still be open cases, but there was definitely a lot of corruption and I know a lot of them. I know a lot of those deputies.
Right. Is there any part of like the politics that was that the Hispanics followed that you didn't necessarily like or agree with, but you know, of course, due to it was a policy, you had to follow it?
I think so. I think at times maybe not off the top that I can recall, but I know that I remember at one point in Wayside, things changed. And I'm not sure at what year, probably like in the 2000s, things changed in Wayside where they had this, where everything had to be quiet, and they started saying this term radio, where now you hear it all over the place, but that you would never hear that before, and to me it was like real petty. I kind of felt like we were almost doing the cop's job, you know what I'm saying, and like little stuff like that. And another thing is dudes just taking advantage of their situation or of their kind of their authority. Those dudes that were in a certain position and they would do too much, you know what I'm saying? They would kind of like do too much, and innocent people. Meaning, what I mean by innocent people is dudes will get hurt that they shouldn't even have gotten hurt, bro. But because this dude's in a position, he's gonna try to, you know, cross this dude up and that kind of stuff. I was never with that, man, you know.
Right. And so, being in prison, you know, because I've done a lot of time myself, and what was like the worst thing about, you know, just besides losing your freedom?
Just being away from the family, man. Being away from the family, not having the freedom to move as you want to eat what you want. Loneliness. A lot of it starts to take a toll on you mentally. Of course, we have a set program, and we do it for a reason. We work out for a reason, because when you don't do that kind of stuff, it takes a mental toll on you, especially in isolation. I spend a lot of time in the hole, and when you don't have that, you can definitely. I've seen people crack, bro. Like they're normal, yeah. And then from one day to the next, they start talking to themselves. So yeah, man, it takes a toll on you, bro. Just being away from home. And depending where you're at, maybe being far from home, you know, you can't get no visits, and just being told what to do. You know what I'm saying? I never, none of us like, as humans, nobody likes to be told what to do. But in that aspect, even from the cops or even program-wise, like, it's like you gotta follow these rules, and sometimes, you know, you just wanna do you, man.
Yeah. And you had also mentioned to me at one point in time you was into Hatchapee, and you guys had got into like a altercation with the staff up there, the prison. I mean, excuse me, the COs and stuff. Is there anything like you could elaborate on a little bit, or?
So there was an incident that happened prior to me getting there, and that incident had happened, I believe, maybe even a year or more than a year, where the cops did something to somebody, and I'm not even sure who it was. I don't remember the details, but what I do recall is that it was still open season, kind of. That stuff was still undealt with, you know what I'm saying? And so there was a lot of rumors that us, the Mexicans, were gonna attack a certain, I don't know if it was a certain CO or certain COs. And I remember being the neighbor with one of the homies that, you know, he was kind of, you know, doing his thing there. And one day, bro, they just came and they snatched up, they literally drug us out ourselves, bro. They cuffed us and they straight drug us out, and they threw us all in the hole because someone had dropped a kite saying that we were gonna assault the staff. And that's how I ended up in the hole in Tehachapi. And then from there I ended up in SADF and Corcoran. By the way, that prison Tehachapi was horrible, man. Their whole program there, don't go there, man. That 180, that was a horrible place to be, man. Everything, the program, the packages, you would get your packages like 6-7 months later, man. Mail was horrible, the COs, everything was just, it was no good right there, you know?
Right. So, you know, I was just sitting back thinking, and I got a lady who comments on my page from time to time, and she works in the prison in some type of facility, but she mentions that she gets a lot of disrespect from black inmates. She's black as well, and so I thought about it, and she said, you know, she never gets much disrespect from other races in the way that blacks disrespect her. So and like I say, the more I thought about it, it dawned on me that I've never really seen Hispanics outwardly disrespecting the Hispanic staff in here. Do you guys have some type of thing to where you have to be cordial toward them, or is it just more of a cultural thing?
Well, I'm sure it all depends on the individual. I'm sure there's some disrespectful, you know what I mean? There's disrespectful people of all races, and I'm sure it's probably happened. But yeah, there might be, and it all depends where you're at. But there might be something where it's a respect level,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Not just with different races, but even with the COs. You know, we can't have just homies walking around disrespecting, because that affects the program. It affects visits. It might cause where the CO assaults a homie, and then we gotta jump for him, and people get shot. You got real live rounds. And it just trickles down, man. So to avoid all that, you know, you gotta be respectful, man.
Right. And then I was at North Kern one time, and I was going back to the building, and there was a Hispanic dude getting escorted across the yard in handcuffs, and I guess he had fallen out of the good graces with the Hispanics, and the whole yard attacked him. So even when you guys get into it with the officers, if you're there, you're required to participate.
Again, it depends on where you're at and what. It all depends. Me personally, the way I was brought up, yeah. If a CO or COs, if they're beating down a homie, jump. You better jump.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that sometimes entails catching cases. You know what I mean? Because that's assault on staff.
Right. And you're right, because a lot of those dudes were actually charged with assault, all types of stuff.
And quick, I mentioned this offline, but real quick, I was actually in Centinela with one of your boys, Diablo from Banning,
right.
And we were in the gym in Centinela, and they tried to put us on our bunks. Someone that got stabbed in another building, and they try to put the Mexicans on their bunks while the blacks and the whites get to walk around. And we were like, hell no, we ain't having that. So they came in, they said, you guys better be on your bunks by this and this time, and if you don't, and I was like the main one speaking, I was like, nah, man, I ain't getting on my bunk, you know what I mean? And all the homies followed suit, like, yeah, we ain't getting, and they came in, bro, and it was wartime with the COs, man, and thankfully none of us got charged with assault on staff, you know, but we all went to the hole and ended up on different yards, but yeah, that's one little story that I remember in Centinela on A yard, and Diablo ended up being my neighbor, man, right there in A5 in the hole in Centinela.
And so out of all the prisons that you experienced, which one do you think was the worst in terms of violence? I mean, it's just constant, you know, constant violence, and just, you know, you was glad to, when you finally left, be up out of there.
Man, probably Calipat. That was probably the most active as far as that. Corcoran and Calipat. Corcoran and Calipat.
And so now, you know, now that you're out, you're free, you change your life. How does it feel like, you know, just not necessarily being caught up in the, you know, that gang lifestyle, not necessarily worrying about all the BS that comes with being in the gang, having to watch your back, maybe getting caught with guns or drugs or whatever.
Man, it feels good, bro, not to have to worry about none of that, man, because it sure takes a toll on you. I think I still have these, I don't know what to call it, bro, PTSD, all this stuff. That's definitely still to this day. I still suffer from some of that, and it I guess manifests in different ways: anxiety, depression. But with that being said, apart from that, feels good, bro. I'm not, you know what I mean? I know I might still look a certain way, and I believe God uses that, you know, in my life as a testimony to others. But I don't walk around like that. I mean, yeah, when I go to LA, I'm still on my toes. You know what I mean? Cause even though I don't have that mindset, others, they probably do. Right. And they don't care, you know what I mean? They really don't care. I'm probably still a trophy for some dudes, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, definitely a switch goes on. As soon as I get to the IE, heading to LA, boom, that switch goes on, and I'm a little bit more cautious. But I don't carry myself. Even when I go all over. I go to East LA, I go to South Central, I go West LA, and just the way I look, I go. I believe I got God on my side. He protects me, and I'm always on the lookout. Someone I can maybe testify to or maybe talk to, and I don't carry myself like that. Instead of mean mugging, like before I see, you know what I mean, I'm mean mugging. Instead of doing that, I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? How you doing? You know what I mean? So it all depends on how you carry yourself, man. The spirit that you have, and a word a lot of people like to use is the energy. You know what I mean? The energy you kind of put out.
Right, that's what's up. And then I know, last question here, you had mentioned earlier you happened to be in the county jail with Lenny Dykstra, the baseball player.
Yeah.
What was that like, and how did you happen to run across that?
Lenny Dykstra, bro, was one of my favorite baseball players. I used to collect baseball cards in the 80s. I loved baseball, I still do. And he was one of my, I'm a Dodger fan, but he was as a player, he was unique, bro. And so when I seen him walk on the tier on G-Row, it tripped me out, man. And he ended up becoming my good friend. I'm still in contact with him to this day. Matter of fact, I might go see him this weekend. And he's been a blessing in my life, bro. When I had my son, my firstborn, I wasn't doing too good. And I had to move out from LA. I moved to LA to have my son. I had to go back to where I used to live. I didn't have no peace in my heart no more in LA, living in LA. I really didn't belong there. And he helped me, man, financially. He got me a U-Haul. He paid for my first month's rent. And he's been a blessing, man. He's been a blessing to me. He's a unique individual. I know he's a lot of people, you know, he's just a unique dude, man. He's still out there. You see a lot of stuff out there on YouTube. But I was there. He got assaulted by the sheriffs. And it was definitely a blessing to get to know him. I was there when his mom passed away. While he was in there, I was able to try to encourage him spiritually, you know, and it definitely was a blessing to develop that friendship and to still have that friendship. You know, I might not see him all the time or talk to him every day, but I got his number, and I know If I ever need anything, he's there, and vice versa, man. He ever needs anything, I'm there for him. He's definitely a friend, man.
Yeah, and that's what's up, man. And so, once again, man, I'd like to thank you, Isaac, for coming on my show, you know, talking to me, sharing your experiences with me, sharing your experiences with my audience and stuff. I appreciate you, man, and it's good to see another individual who was locked up out here being free, man, enjoying himself.
Yeah, can I just share something real quick before?
Most definitely.
So, I just want to share for the viewers, the reason I even come on platforms like this is, you know, for me it's a good enough trade to where I get to share some stories, some content with someone like Chill, you know, and get these stories out, and even me just being a Mexican, give you guys a different perspective, and I do it to maybe help somebody out, maybe help somebody else out there, a youngster, or even you don't even have to be young, maybe try to deter you from living that lifestyle. It's not worth it, especially now in these days. And not only that, is to share my testimony, what God has done in my life, and to let you guys know that God is definitely real. He became real in my life. It was not just something that, you know, I just wanted to go become this religious dude, and I'm still not this religious dude. I have a story, man, that I like to get out, and I would love for that to maybe drop some seeds and plant some seeds, and maybe someone else can come water them seeds and let you guys know, man, that Jesus Christ, man, he loves you. He came to pay for all of our sins, man, and I'm a prime example that he can save anybody. You know, I was the worst of the worst. I was a fully activated gangbanging. That's all I cared about. I was a soldier for the devil. Now I'm a soldier for Christ, man. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys listening, man.
All right, hey, thank you, man. And once again, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.